Welcome to our podcast, Let's See What Happens. And this podcast features two women with ADHD, and we talk about our life choices, maybe shed some light on life with ADHD, perhaps inspire. Probably not, though. Okay. What would you say you do here? Today, we're going to talk about how it is very hard for people with ADHD to function in a workplace, in a job, and all of the things that come with that as being adults that we're just assumed we can do, but we can't. So, joke's on you, employer.
Now, hang on. I feel like I'm going to refine this a little bit because I think there are certain parts of jobs that we can do really, really well. It's just there are many jobs or parts of jobs out there that are really not built for an ADHD brain. This is my thesis.
Agreed. A plus.
Amazing. I had an experience happen today where part of my job is I give speaking engagements. That's right, dear listener. People actually come to rooms to hear me talk. Why? I don't know. Perhaps they have nothing better to do, but it's great. And I love it. And it is one of my favorite things to do. And I think there's many parts of the ADHD experience that allow me to be really good at this.
Can I jump in here? Because
You sure can.
Because ADHD, samesies with the speaking arrangements. That is my zone of genius. Like weddings, you want me to speak? I am there for it.
Natalie, I made your husband cry when I gave a toast one time.
It wasn't like a formal toast. It was just like, thanks for coming. I love you. And he was in tears. It was real good. I'm not minimizing the speech. I'm minimizing the formality because we were just talking about how people come when they don't have anything better to do and pay to see you speak. This was a little different.
It's true. It was a little different. We were just around a dinner table and we'd had a really nice time skiing. So anyway, today I have a speaking engagement and this is great. I love this. And I've been practicing and I hyperfixate on these things, right? I go through phases where I won't work on it and I won't work on it. And then deadline mode activates. And then it's all I can think about. And I'll practice it and I'll record it and I'll listen to it while I'm running. And then I'll come home and I'll edit it. And I love it. I'm in that mode.
You're one with the speech. Yeah, you're there.
Yes. The speech is me. I am speech. I am speech. I just want you to picture, it's this morning, Friday, and I have a breakfast meeting in my town that is at 8:30 a.m., long before the speech. But by this point in the day, I've already gone for an 8-mile run. I've practiced this keynote. I have showered. I've changed into fancy work clothes. I've blow-dried my hair like a f***ing adult. And I've driven 4 blocks to this meeting. I arrive. It is 8:34, which in my world is on time.
Winning.
We're still in the 8:30 time, which means I'm on time. I am proud. I am beaming.
Psyched on life.
Psyched on life.
Confidence is through the roof.
And I'm amazed that the glass doors of this cafe didn't just shatter as I walked towards them because I am beaming.
What I'm picturing is you walking through this saloon, busting through double doors.
Wow, so you were there at breakfast. That was amazing. That kind of is what happened because I walked in and I saw the person that I was there meeting and I was like, all right, I'm here. And I looked in my purse and I realized I have no phone. So I think, oh, that's fine. It must be in my car. I certainly grabbed it before I left. So we have a meeting. I eat breakfast. I go back to the car. No phone. It is nowhere. But I have magically left enough time in my day to run home. Well, I drove home. I was having to go so fast that I just pulled the car next to the house, left it running, jumped out. I did put it in park, which I was very proud of. So parked the car, still running, door open, run out, run into the house, thinking, of course, my phone's going to be right here, just like in the middle of my house, obviously.
Waiting for you, crying because it missed you.
Exactly. I run in and it's not downstairs. So I go upstairs. I had only been in the house from my run for 25 minutes. I went from running with my phone outside to coming inside the house, looked at one thing on the phone, and then was only there for 25 minutes.
It could be anywhere. It could be anywhere in the house. It could be in the basement. It could be on the fucking roof. You don't know.
So I'm tornadoing through this house. I'm opening the fridge. I'm opening the freezer. I look in the laundry basket. I look in the laundry machine. I go through all my drawers. I take things out of drawers. It is nowhere. I look in the shower. I look in the toilet. Nowhere. There's no phone. And as this is happening, I think, oh, I'll connect my earbuds and see if it connects. Sure does. Yeah, my earbuds are like, yep, connected to your phone. And I'm like, quick.
You're like, now what?
It did not help. It just illuminated the fact that my phone was near me, but not on my person.
So you put the earbuds in, they're like, beep boop. You're like, great.
Where to add, buddy?
Help me, help you, help me.
There should be an accessibility feature on earbuds and the phone. Both of them should be able to make a noise at one another that helps you find it.
You know what? Actually, if they could just find each other without us even doing anything, that's actually the best solution. I think that's actually what you want, is you want them just to find each other and then just present themselves.
That's exactly what I want. Yeah, if we could just make our electronics sentient and also give them snail legs, you just that'd be amazing. So I'm like tornadoing through the house. The house is now getting worse the longer I'm in it. And the car is still running outside with the door open. And I'm looking at my watch and I'm like, shit, I have to be driving right now to get to this keynote that I'm delivering. I am the speaker and the thing starts at 11 and it is 10:30. And I'm like, hell, I don't know how to get there.
Can we just pause? Would you have looked it up the night before? Fuck no. Would you have looked it up that morning? I'm kind of in the middle of making my coffee and running, so no.
It's in Denver, at Denver University. I still don't know. I went there. I still don't know. I think it's at Denver University, and I assume that anything that's in Denver is 30 minutes away from my house. Is that accurate? Nope. Sometimes it's less. Sometimes it's more.
Most of the time, it's more. Like, never is it less. Details.
So I assume it's 30 minutes. It's now 10:30, and I realize I don't know how to get there. And the tool that I use to get places is gone. Now, you might think, Lauren, you do things outside and you know how to use a map and compass. I'm in a fucking city. There's no map with a compass that has DU, and here's where you're speaking, Lauren. That thing is in a calendar invite, which is on my phone. And then I click a link and a magic little app takes me there. I haven't used a map in a city in 20 years.
You could have maybe looked up and figured out from the stars and the sun position and then oriented yourself. I feel like that's something that you'd be like, you know what? I'm going to do this old school. Do a little lick of your finger, see which way the wind is going. I'm going to go, and that away.
We get to do that a little bit later. So I then walk outside, like there's going to be someone there to help me. There's no one. It's the middle of the workday. Everyone is gone.
The adults cannot be found.
I would have even settled for a college kid. And my plan with going outside was like to flag someone down and be like, can you help me? No, there's no one there. So instead, I run back to my car, still running. I grab my laptop. I bring it back inside. I look up where this thing is. Sure enough, this time it says it's exactly 30 minutes away. This is kind of a miracle. But now it's 10:34. I pull up the directions and then I realize I have to go right now. So I just take the laptop, still open, run to the car and put the laptop on the passenger seat and I start driving.
Your laptop, though, it's not connected to the internet.
No.
It's just there. The picture is
just
there.
there.
It's like an old school map, but less helpful.
Yes. And there's an out of focus line that shows me a way I could go, but I don't know if I'm on that line. There's no dot. The line just exists. And I am.
You zoom in and it just gets pixelated. You're like, so which pixel am I?
In fact, I did that, Natalie. Not even safely. We're not even allowed to hold a phone in our hand in the state of Colorado while we are driving. I'm pretty sure that driving with an open laptop that you're using for directions is also frowned upon. So the whole time I'm thinking, don't think about cops. Don't think about Natalie's story with cops. Don't think about cops. And finally, I hit a red light and I take a chance and I expand the written directions on the map.
Sure.
And miracle, it works. And so I'm like, okay, write these down in case the laptop dies, which is highly likely.
You're like 3% battery. Man, I haven't been governed the shit out of this entire trip. You're like, who's got a piece of gum and a paper clip? Keep this going.
I'm in a red light and I've got the laptop and I'm like, please don't turn green, but I also need you to turn green because the clock is ticking, right? We are already late for this thing that I am giving a keynote at. And so I find a small trivia card, like a little card that has questions on it for trivia. from a game. And I was like, this'll do. And I grab a pen and I'm scrolling exit 205, right on Buktel, left on South Broadway, right on the street. And then the last direction, it says left on Evans, then right. What? Then right where? There's no street name.
Tapping the screen like, hello, hello. Anybody in there? Need a little help.
The light turns green. So now I'm clutching this little trivia card and I'm speeding down the highway thinking, don't think about cops. And I'm making great time. Miraculously, there is no traffic. Miraculously, there are no cops. And I see exit 205 and I take exit 205 and I'm like, yes. And then I see the street I'm supposed to turn right on. And then I see Evans Street and I go left on Evan. And then there is a giant Pepsi truck, like a huge, enormous, blocks the whole street Pepsi truck. And I'm like, I've made up time. I'm now 4 minutes ahead of the event start time. I've somehow managed to get to Evans Street with a clutched little trivia card with some weird words scrawled on it. There's an open computer sitting next to me. I am sweating. And I'm now not going to make it at the last minute because of this fucking Pepsi truck. And I can't go around it. I can't divert. I can't figure out another way around because I don't know where I am.
Did you honk? Were you like, beep, beep? And then you're like, huh? Get out of the way, fucker.
Finally, the Pepsi truck moves. And it's like, okay. So I just start driving down Evans. And the next thing I'm supposed to do is then right. And so I'm like staring all over to the right. And there's this tiny little thing that looks like maybe a driveway. And so I was like, fuck it. Let's do it. I'm probably going to be driving up not an actual driveway, but here we go. So I turn onto the little driveway thing. And miracle of miracles, there was a parking garage. So I pull into the parking garage. I don't pay because you need a fucking QR code to pay for that. And I don't have a phone. What am I going to do? Like read it with my eyes? Like, no.
Actually, you should have tried because that would have been hilarious.
Stand in front of it.
Beep, boop, beep, boop. This isn't working.
Trying to click things.
Shocker.
Make it bigger. So then I park the car. I'm in the parking garage. I don't pay. And I'm running out of the parking garage in a nice blazer and nice clothes. And I'm, at this point, have no idea where I'm going. I'm just on a college campus. I just run out of a parking garage like a crazy person.
Did you know what building you were supposed to go to or a room?
That was in the calendar invite. I have a vague memory that I was supposed to go to something that said center, but it's a college campus, so that could have been anything.
That's every building.
That's every building. 100% of the buildings are something center. The Humanities Center, the Ben Jones Center, whatever it is. So I just run out of the parking garage and I keep going right. I'm still on that track. Maybe if I just keep going right, things will work out. And then off in the distance, I see this little sign, like the kind of thing that someone would put out to be like, event this way. I was like, fuck it, that's my best shot. So I run at the sign and it turns out it's my event. It's the thing that I'm supposed to be speaking at now.
For the second time today, you burst through the double doors. I'm here. You're like, wait, I feel like I've already done this.
I remember that had already happened today. As I open the doors, I run in, there's more signs. I'm following the signs, and finally I get outside the room where the thing is happening. And I'm like, okay. And I come screeching to a halt, and I take a deep breath, and I try to hand down.
This is all very normal.
Super normal. I'm covered in sweat. There's a river of sweat running down my back. I cannot even imagine what I look like. And I push open the door, and the room is empty. There is no one inside because I'm supposed to speak in an hour. 1 hour from right then. So now I'm standing in the middle of this cavernous room with all of these seats waiting for people, and I'm sweating, and I look like a wet dog, and there's no one in there.
They're like, excuse me, ma'am, you can't be in here unless you have a ticket or like a home. You're like, I'm the keynote speaker. Can't you tell?
Don't I look like somebody that would be delivering an exceptional speech? Yes, I do have makeup running down half my face. Okay? I do.
What the cool kids are doing these days, I heard, I think.
What kids are doing?
So what did you do? You're in there,
Oh.
you're super sweaty, nobody's there.
No one's there. So I pull out my laptop, and at first I stood there for a while because I had imagined what would happen. Right? I don't know if this happens to your brain, but when you're problem solving, you're sort of trying to stay a step ahead of the calamity that's exploding behind you. So I assume I'm going to have to go in and deliver my speech immediately upon entry. So all I'm trying to think about is like, what were the first 10 words that I wanted to say? Because once I get into it, I feel like I'm going to be fine. I am entirely unprepared to be the only person in this room. So now I'm just standing there alone in this room, laptop in one hand, purse in the other, sweating, like guppying. Like I'm just opening and closing my mouth. Like, what is happening? I don't know. So finally, I think to myself, oh, maybe you should remember whatever the hell you're talking about. I've just gone through this modern day quest to get here. And right about the time, it was honestly, I think if you want to find exhilaration in your life, you leave yourself negative time to get to an event that's really important. And then you just throw your phone out the window and just see what happened.
So there's a couple of things with ADHD that I think are legit hard. And yes, it seemed like today that was one thing after another after another. And sometimes it's like that. Sometimes it's just one thing and then you lose your phone, you find it. And that's not super big deal. It's just every day.
That's normal. That's normal. Most days.
Yes. But getting to a job
oh God,
and planning the amount of time it takes and leaving at that time to do it, it's like if you give me 1 minute and be like, Natalie, you have to go in a minute, I will seriously be, I think I'm probably going to bake some muffins in that minute and then I'll leave. Have you eaten? No, I forgot. Have you gotten your stuff together? I think I could do that maybe at some point, maybe when I'm on my way out the door. And if I'm going to the same place, like the same workspace every day, it is the same thing every day.
Yeah.
So that's a big problem with going to work and working with ADHD. It's just like time.
Yeah. And understanding that you can't teleport to places, which is really upsetting. By the time I finally delivered the speech, I got great feedback. People said I did great. I did the job well. But all of the infrastructure around the job, oh, hell no. So I told this story as the prelude to my speech. I was like, this is too funny. I have to tell you guys this. So I tell people what happened. And then I had multiple people come up to me after the speech and they were like, do you know how to get out of here? And I was like, nope. I'm pretty sure I live here at DU now in this room. It's now my home without my phone. Could someone tell my boyfriend? This is where I live now.
Oh my God. Yeah, getting to places. And it's still like, if I ever have a client, I work with kids who are late. Let's say the parent texts me, I'm 5 minutes late. I literally cannot figure out how much time 5 minutes is. The last time I had a mom text me was before Christmas. And I think she said, we're going to be 7 minutes late. I was like, you know what I'm going to do in 7 minutes? All of my Christmas shopping. She showed up with her kid. And I was like, oh, shit. Oh, are you on or am I late? Because I just started Christmas shopping and I totally can't manage this with my job. So one of us is going to have to stop and I'm kind of in the middle.
Just stop. You'll never be able to find those gifts again.
Oh, because we're dead.
They're dead. You have 47 tabs open. You haven't purchased them. There's like some in a cart, some, no. It's the thought, Natalie, that counts. That's the thought right there.
It is the thought. You know, the other thing with work is you just using a computer. Talking about tabs, let me tell you how many tabs I have open right now. Oh, you know what? I just restarted my computer, so all my tabs are gone. No idea what they were.
What a mystery.
No, it is a mystery. But I had whatever the max amount of tabs is in a thing, plus then you have to move over for the other tabs. So whatever number that is, and then somehow I opened up a whole new Google Chrome thing.
Yeah.
With more tabs.
Yeah.
It might have been like 40 tabs. And I couldn't let them go because I tried to edit our podcast and do all these things with the things. I will have to relearn all of that.
Yep. But you that knew how to do that, that understood what the tabs were, she is dead.
We'll never get those tabs back.
Nope.
Never.
I mean, you probably will. You'll probably stumble backwards into it. Not in the same order. And certainly not in the same way.
Only on a good day.
That's a good day. So, Natalie, we've talked about how there's jobs that we're really good at, even though we might be bad at the infrastructure around the jobs. I also feel like there are jobs that really just don't work for some ADHD brains.
Yes, that is true. Infrastructure will always be hard. The time, the management, execution of tasks, not our jam. Give us a speech. Oh, baby. Waterworks, laughter, standing ovations.
Yes, put it on. Ad-libbing, great.
Yeah, I'm all over it. There are jobs that I think innately are very hard for people with ADHD. And I did learn this, I guess I would say the hard way. After college, I lived in Portland, Maine with my best friends. I was trying out for getting into graduate school for piano. So I was practicing the piano, and that was sort of my only job. And my parents were kind of like, you should probably get a job. And I was like, hear what you're saying, and I will sort of 50% try. So I was like, you know what? I've never done waitressing. I can work in a restaurant. I like food. I can talk to people. And that's pretty much it. So around where we were in Portland, there are these fancy country clubs in these neighboring towns. So for some reason, instead of being like, I'll work at a restaurant like the shitty dive bar down the street, which is probably where I'd fit in, I decided to go to this country club. And they, for some reason, called me in for an interview, which was clearly their first mistake. I don't know how I even approached them. I must have, I don't know, what does one do to get a job like that? I'm not sure.
You don't even know how they called you. It was just a magical experience where you tripped on the street one day and you dropped your resume and it flew through the air like a Forrest Gump feather and it landed on their desk and they were like,
where have we been all our lives? Obviously not here. And I will tell you why in just a moment. So I get this interview for some godforsaken reason. And I remember the manager was like, do you have any restaurant experience? I didn't. But given that it was a fancy place, I felt like I probably should. So I just said yes. And they just hired me. That seemed to be the only question I needed to answer. And I lied. So that was probably my first mistake. That's on me. Sorry.
Sorry, country club. But it's also on them that they could have asked a follow-up question, literally any question, like, where?
I would have been like, great question. I'm going to have to get back to you on that one. They would have been like, you're fired. Do you not come in? I'd be like, oh, thank God.
But they didn't. So now it's on them, right? It was
that
on
is on
you.
them.
Now it's on them.
So I go through the first day is just training, and they assume that I have previous experience. So this manager is like, okay, show me how you walk through the double doors with a tray. And I was like, okay, never held a tray before. It is fucking hard. I can make my wrist go like that. So I'm just going to say my anatomy is different. Cannot make 90 degree with my wrist.
I'm looking at it right now. I can confirm not 90 degrees.
It's like 45 degrees.
Yeah.
Okay, you can make 90 degrees. I literally cannot.
Nope. Those glasses are going right down. Right on the ground.
At this angle, you can see there's no way I could ever balance anything to begin with.
No.
Okay. So that one's also on me. But she put all these ketchup and mustard things, like containers, on the tray. And she's like, walk through the double doors to practice. I'm like, okie dokie. Put it on the tray that's 45 degrees because I can't apparently put my wrist at 90 degrees. Every time I hit the double doors, all of the ketchup and mustard containers fall over. All over the floor. I can't keep any just on the tray, let alone standing up. And I'm pretty sure the point is to go through the doors without dropping anything or having them fall over. Not once did I do it, which seems a little bit startling if you're trying to hire someone who would carry food on that tray and they can't even manage that simple task. And I think at some point she must have just been like, well, moving on. Because I know I did it like 4 times, the same thing every single time. Never made it through the double doors. But apparently we just didn't have time to fix it.
We're not going to care about that one.
Yeah,
nope, fine.
That's probably fine.
Move on.
Moving on. So things that don't work with ADHD are remembering things, which is pretty much all of waitressing. Writing things down in an orderly fashion. So like, there's a table of 4 people. I have to know which order goes to which person. The way I write things down could be like in a triangle, and it's a circle table. It just doesn't make sense. I have 5 names. There's only 4 people. I have 10 orders. There's only 2 people. I don't know. It does not work.
And everyone else in the restaurant knows the secret code for which table have which number. And now the chef is going to yell at you because he needs to know or she needs to know what table 6 in the 2 slot is getting. No.
Yeah, the 2 slot. And then you have to go to the computer and type in exactly what everybody ordered in a very orderly, detailed fashion. And it was just mind-blowingly hard for me to do this. I never got one order right. I think maybe I worked 4 nights total, and I never got an order right. Could not complete a table without just like fucking the whole thing up. So it gets worse, actually. Surprisingly, but not surprisingly. So the first day I go in, and what I had retained, maybe the only thing I had retained from this meeting with the manager, where she was supposed to teach me things, was that they feed us dinner. And I was like, fantastic. I'm right out of college. I'm probably hungover because I had a bit of a partying problem. It's 4 o'clock. She had said, we feed you at 4:30. And that is the one thing I stuck to for that job. I was like, oh shit, now I don't have to buy dinner. I'm just going to eat at work. Woo! Winning. Well, 4:30, I remember looking, and this burger comes out on the thing. Like the chef cooked the burger, it comes out. And I was like, oh, that must be my dinner. Because I'm here. Of course, I'm here. It's 4:30. You said you're going to feed me dinner. Nobody's told me no. So I'm just going to sit down, take this, and eat it, which is what I do. And then I hear another server come up, this other waitress, and she was like, where's my order to the chef? And I'm like, sitting there watching this unfold while munching down on this cheeseburger in the corner by myself, new kid, don't know anybody, haven't talked to anyone, just eating. My first thing on the job. So I hear her be like, where's my order? And the chef is like, whatever he says, he's pissed, naturally. He's like, I put it out there. At which point I was like, I think this is probably not the dinner that I was promised. And my bad. So I stood up and I was like, oh, hey, sorry. I think I ate your order. I think I'm eating it. I don't remember what people said because I doubt that's ever happened in the history of that fancy country club place. We're just like, some new server comes up and they're like, yoink, thanks for the dinner. And they're like, we're a restaurant. We serve other people. But you.
I tell you that they would serve you.
They did. I needed more instructions about how that would have been presented. Because clearly, with my past experience, I didn't understand. I'm like, oh, my other restaurant, they just fed us like that.
It works at the other place that doesn't have a name.
That other place I was, I forget, very fancy place. So then I move on from that. I'm sure people are like, what in the actual fuck is going on? I'm oblivious. At some point in the night, the manager comes up to me and she's like, Natalie, 86 on the milkshakes. And I'm like, oh, fuck, I have to make 86 milkshakes? So like in my head, I was like, oh, Jesus Christ. Like, what is there, like a circus out there? Is there like a school bus that showed up? And I think it's a little weird, but I'm like, well, I guess this is what happens at fancy restaurants. People just love milkshakes. So 86.
Were there even 86 people in the restaurant?
No, it's 4:30. There's like 3. Fancy golf course country club. No. Do I put that together? 100%. I don't know what they do at these places. I've never been in one. I don't know. It's all a mystery. Just like living in this magical little world with my previous experience. So 86 on anything in the restaurant means there's no more. Like, it's out. Don't do it. Of course, I didn't know this. So 86 on the milkshakes. I start making milkshakes. I don't know what happened to my other orders or if I even had other tables, but it didn't matter because I felt like 86 milkshakes was a pretty important job and it was going to take me a shit ton of time. So I was like, I'm going to prioritize this at my new job where I'm definitely not making any more mistakes. So I make 2 or 3 milkshakes. Somehow I even figured out the milkshake machine, which I'm sure was just an on button and a lever, but I did it.
Yeah, no, that seems really hard.
Right?
Yeah.
Like if someone was like, go make a milkshake, I'd be like, I'm going to raise you one and probably just say no because that seems kind of hard.
So you got to find that silver cup, and then you got to find a scoop, and then you got to find an ice cream, and then there's got to be a liquid. As I'm saying this, I'm realizing that most of the ingredients are just in the name. Like the liquid's probably milk.
You don't know, though. Nobody knows.
Yes, nobody knows.
I sure as hell didn't know. So somehow I did that, which is a Christmas miracle. At 2 or 3 milkshakes, I am approached by the manager, and she's like, what are you doing? To which I say, I'm making milkshakes. And she said, 86 on the milkshakes means there's no more milkshakes. And I was like, oh, whew, because I made 3. And I was like, making 86 would take a really long time. So I'm real glad I don't have to do that. I think I probably just nonchalantly walked away like, well, don't have to do that. Checked. Such a good employee.
Milkshake residue on shit dripping.
I don't remember cleaning it. No, I don't. I was just like, oh, okay. You said no, so I'm going to be done with that. I'm just going to walk away from that unfinished task that I never had to do, nor was I supposed to do. I probably actually drank one of the milkshakes. That's probably what I did. Because I deserved it. Because I was totally killing it at work. Throughout this whole experience, I lasted 3 weeks and then I got fired.
How did you last
Shocker.
3 weeks?
I called in sick. Yeah. Okay. I worked, I think, a total of 4 times because I called in sick every other day because I was like, I can't do this job. I'm so bad. Who knows whose order I'm going to eat today? It's just so bad. So I still have a double door problem. I can't carry a tray. I have to carry a tray with 2 hands, like a little kid going to a cafeteria with a cafeteria tray. Left hand on one side, right hand on the right side. Like, I cannot carry a tray. So can you imagine this short? I'm 5 feet tall, walking out with your tray, just being like, spilling shit everywhere. I spilled coffee in people's laps. That's like, you do not do that. It hurts. I can get sued. What am I doing? It is so bad. I can't remember the orders. I can barely write them down. I sure as fuck can't put them in the computer. The chef is constantly like, Natalie, where's your order? I'm like, I don't know, man. I thought I put it in the computer. He's like, this is 5 orders of chicken wings. Is that really what you want? I'm like, no. Who did that? He's like, you. I'm like, oh my God, don't make that. And you know, chefs are generally seem to be not the softest and kindest people that I've met. A little rough around the edges, like tattoos. I don't know. Maybe they're doing some nose candy back there. I don't know what's going on. But me being incompetent is definitely not what's going to make their day better.
No, definitely not. They're holding on by a thin thread.
And every day I come in, I just chop it. I got fired, and I called my dad because I was like, I think maybe he had something to do with, please get a job. And I was like, I'm on it. Call him, I was like, Dad, I got fired from being a waitress. And he was like, I can't believe you made it this long. And I was like, oh, well, thanks, I guess. And okay, glad we cleared that up.
Can't believe you made it this long. I really did it. I only went 4 times. But it was spread out over 3 weeks. So
3-week period, but I didn't show up to work a handful of times. And that is why people with ADHD probably shouldn't be waitresses. Hostess, I feel like that would be better.
see, I had the opposite experience. I would hyperfixate as long as we were busy. If we were busy when I was a waitress, deadline mode would activate. And my brain was like, give me a 12 top with all sorts of weird substitutions and I will remember everything. Now, I made up my own little code for like where the people sat. And then I would make up little names for the people, like red hat, funny face, bad glasses. So like, God forbid anyone actually saw what I was writing. Also, impossible to put that into the little computer thing. But I knew it was all up here. And so as long as they were busy, my brain was like, let's fucking go. But then if there were only like 2 or 3 tables, I would walk up to them and have a great conversation and just walk away.
They'd be like, we're here to eat. I'm like, so am I. That's later. Maybe that was part of the problem at the country club. It was usually not very busy.
There you go. See,
Maybe that was...
it's not you.
No, it was me. But I appreciate that.
They put me on the hostess stand one time and I just kept trying to seat people. And they realized you can't seat people. The restaurant is full. Where are you going to put them? And I kept saying yes to people pleasing me. Let's figure it out. We had some card tables in the back.
Here, that sitting on laps is in these days. Not weird at all.
Not weird.
Totally socially appropriate.
Yeah. So I think we should open a restaurant and let's just see what happens.
There'd be a fire in the kitchen. No one would eat. We would just be losing money because I'd be like, who wants a free drink? Everybody? That's what I'm talking about. 86 milkshakes everywhere.
I think it'll go well.
Yeah, it would go well. You know what? The other perception of people with ADHD, and I've had this my entire life, and it's with jobs too, it's with everything, is that I am aloof and I don't care. Because going back to your story today, you're the keynote speaker. It is on you to be there. You are the feature of this entire event. And you fucking lost your phone and you're showing up, 4 minutes late, flying in, dripping sweat with makeup. Like, what is that? People assume that you're like, whatever, I'll just, woo. They're like, where were you? You're like, I don't know. I just flew in from, I forget. So we're good. That's what it comes across as. But it's not true. Right? Like, you very much care about the speech. You were practicing. You had it memorized. You were one with the speech.
One with the speech. And I climbed Everest this morning to get there. I had to use a pen and paper directions. Like, we haven't done that for 20 years.
Yes. You put in more effort than anybody's put in to be the keynote speaker. But nobody would think that. I don't know if this happened to you, but my entire life growing up, people were like, Natalie, kind of space cadet, flying through life. right?
Yes.
But when it
Big
comes
fan.
to the specific part of my job that is my zone of genius that I can hyperfixate on, there's no parallels. The best.
None. Yes.
Everything else, though, it's just hard. I care. We care.
We care so much
We're
about.
so hard.
Yeah, I really just hope to ascend to a level of success where I can just keep putting more and more layers of people around me to help buffer the rest of the world from me and me from it. All I could think today was, fuck, if I had a driver, like this would not be a problem. I would just be like, yes, time to go. I wouldn't say that. Who am I kidding? Bob would be like, Lauren, we had to get in the car 5 minutes ago. And I'd be like, yeah, Bob, you're going to be speeding today. That sounds great. It wouldn't fix the time problem, but it wouldn't have been a problem that I didn't have my phone because Bob, that would be his job.
Yeah, to have a phone.
No one
We all need a Bob.
You don't need a Bob. That's the takeaway.
Yeah, and so I think that if you have people in your life who have ADHD or you know someone, you can assume that they are trying real hard.
So hard.
Very hard.
All the
What they
time.
do, actually, I might add.
And they're doing it with a cacophony of thoughts and really good ideas that are running in the background all the time, along with a song that they can't get out of their head.
Yeah, which probably contributes to the fact that that is why we're constantly losing our phones, constantly can't find things. I'm just like, I'm too busy. Should find itself. What's it doing?
Why is it over there? And the best part? So I get home eventually, and then I had to email Natalie to call my phone so I could find it.
I'm in a totally different state. Do you have any friends or roommates or nope? Okay, I'll call it. I get it.
And then I went outside. There was no one out there. Like, it doesn't matter that I live in a town of tens of thousands of people. No, down to you.
And you found it. I called it. You're like, oh, there it is. Where was it?
So it was right. I'll show you. It was right there. Now, it was on a dresser that I looked at several times. But in my defense, the phone is black and the dresser is black. Thanks.
You really need cases that are multicolored, flashing lights, and a sound. I would say the sound is key. I think that life is, again, when we can do exactly what our brain is good at, unparalleled success.
Yeah.
Everything else that has to do with life,
Trying. Yeah. We're just trying.
Really
And
trying.
you know what? If we can just try to increase the time where we spend in the zone of genius, mostly for the purpose of decreasing the time that we have to stray outside of that, I think everyone's the better for it.
Oh, for sure. That's why we also need fairies, going back to our last podcast.
Yes. So many
That is why we
fairies.
need the fairies, to do the things that we are terrible at so that we can get to the things that we are beyond genius at.
Yes. I agree.
This was a good one. I'm glad we chatted about this. That was good.
Me too. I really hope it helps. So if you out there are struggling with getting places, I'll just remind you that we can still write directions on pieces of paper and match them up to the street signs out there. And it works.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
And if you're ever thinking about being a server and you have ADHD, I would say probably don't.
Or make sure the restaurant is really busy all the time.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for listening.
Thanks, guys.
We'll see
We'll
you
see you
next
next
time.
time.